Welcome to the Apex, everyone. I'm your host, Zell, and we've got news with an edge. And jumping right into that news with an edge, we've got BladeReviews.com looking at the Spyderco Chaparral FR in lightweight. And the truth about knives has a couple of very important articles that you should go read. The first one is about the Canadian knife import ban causing confusion and spurring sales. And, here's the deal with that, guys. Whether you're on this side of the border, on the south side, or the north side, you need to be doing your part to make that go away, if at all possible. We have some knife companies that are saying, no, we're not sending any more knives to Canada. That's great. The people in Canada need to be talking to their legislators and getting this straightened out, because it's make things hard for everybody. We need to realize that that border up there is just a line. The United States and Canada, we're all the same people. You know, people up north may talk a little funny, but that's okay. We love them anyhow. And we need to get this straightened out. And I know you guys think we talk funny down here, and that's okay too. And the other thing is Vice News. You know, a blind rabbit finds a carrot every once in a while. And Vice News this week profiles knife rights and documents New York City's gravity knife travesty. And if for no other reason than Vice got it right for once, you need to go watch that video. And Knife News covers cold steel moving from CTS-XHP to S35VN. Many people are up in arms about this. I'm not. Why? Because XHP has been really hard to get a hold of for a very long time. In fact, I love to use the stuff, but I even have a hard time getting a hold of it in the proper widths and thicknesses that I would like to have. So, you know, it has caused availability problems for cold steel, and I don't blame them at all for moving the S35VN. It's still a very high quality steel. You give up just a smidge of edge retention, but you pick up some corrosion resistance, and you pick up the ability to sharpen it easier. So I think they picked a steel that has much higher availability and has some pretty good trade-offs. So, and the biggest thing is we will have better availability of the cold steel knives. Not that I have a lot of cold steel knives, but for you guys that love them, you will have more availability of those knives, especially the new models, and that's always a beautiful thing. And the last one over at Knife News, we've got Leatherman returning with the PST. That was the original Leatherman, as far as I know, and I had one of those back in the day. I used it till I broke a couple of the frickin' implements on it, and but it was the coolest thing to have something like that way back when, because you had a very small tool that had all the implements that you may need to do basic work. And it's really kind of cool that Leatherman's bringing that back for a short run, a special edition run. And they're probably going to be crazy expensive, but it's still cool to see it. And then before we jump into video, I want to say thank you to the Patreons. And I want to give you guys a bit of an update right here on the Apex. Right after the first of the month, hopefully, you know how things go around here. Hopefully, right after the first of the month, we're going to have a giveaway, and we're going to start doing some of those knife sales that I told you about. And we're also going to do a giveaway here on the channel, and hopefully that's all somewhere in the first of the month. You know how things go around here. It may get pushed a little bit depending on what's going on and the rest of what I do, but hopefully it will be at the first of the month. And if you want to get in on those giveaways and on those knife sales, get over to Patreon, look around. I've made it very affordable to get in on that stuff, and I appreciate everyone that is participating over there and donating a little bit. And one last thing, the way they will work is if you are a new patron, you will not be able to, if you say you go over to Patreon on the first of next month, you won't be able to get in on anything until the first of the next month. It's just a safety mechanism for myself, Patreon, and the channel, but that's just how it works. And moving on to video, from the SnuggleBunny, still sorry, buddy, that I've missed so many of your videos. This week we have the Zero Tolerance 0462. That is the Dmitry Sikrovich design. It's the bigger one. Pretty cool knife. And the ApostleP swings in this week with the Lionsteel Clip Shuffler. And I think he's pretty impressed with that one. And Birdshot IV has something a little smaller in their IV this week. They've got micro knives. They say they have their own fair share. You have to go over there and see. And Bladecentered cues us up with a Spyderco 2 Manix lightweight. I wonder if he sharpened that thing yet. Oof, any of you guys out there that had experience sharpening an S90V, it's an adventure, isn't it? And the Wee Knives 717 Valiant is another video from Bladecentered this week, and Slicey Dicey, he rolls in with a pair of 3 after 3 months. Really cool to see some longer-term use reviews. I wish I could get more of them done here. And he also has a versus video, the Steel Wheel Resident versus the Real Steel Metamorph. And I got it out right the first time. Hope I don't have to say that one again because I'll just get them backwards. And also, as Nick Shabazz would say, Slicey Dicey's daughter is a gem. What she has asked for her birthday is to raise $300 for the ASPCA. And Slicey Dicey has put up a knife raffle over on his channel if you would like to help this gem of a young lady out. And that video is linked down in the description, as is everything else. Next up, we have EDC with Aaron bringing us the Sea Monster review. And I've got a little PSA that goes along with this one. The Sea Monster is a knife that's very polarizing. Most guys don't like it because of several things in the EDC knife deal that it doesn't check off. And for good reason. However, guys, I watched at Blade Show. The women love this thing. And I know, sexist and all that, hell with it. They love this thing. And that brings up this point. If you are a knife guy or girl and your significant other brings up knives that look good to them, if it is a quality knife, you should have already bought it and given it to them. Why do I say that? Well, even if it doesn't check all those boxes that you have for your EDC gear, if your significant other wants something or likes something, it is a way to get them in. Now, and they will use it if they like it. Now, they may find out later that they would have liked to have had this or they would have liked to have had that. But if all you ever hand them are things like, say, this 0452, you know, not too many ladies want to carry a pocket sword. But if you listen to what they want and get them what they want, they will start to learn and they will figure out what their EDC preferences are. Don't try to impose yours on them. All right, off my soapbox and moving on along. Kevin clearly brings us the Best Tech Predator, his review and discussion on that. And I did not watch that one because I didn't want to cloud my thoughts or give away what Kevin thinks because I really like that knife. And Kevin probably does too. You'll just have to go watch the video and find out. And Jeremy of A Simple Little Life brings us a review. And he doesn't do that very often anymore. But this week he has the Benchmade 535 Bug Out. It's a pretty neat knife, and you have to go see what Jeremy has to say about it. And old Nick Shabazz rolls in with the Tashi Barucha Mass Drop Prism. Now, that is a cool knife. I did not order one because some of the numbers on it don't work out for me as to what I prefer to carry, and it's a bit expensive. But, wow, is it a cool knife from Tashi. Maybe I can talk to Tashi at Blade Show, and we can work some of that out and get something that's a little more to my liking. Not that I'm, you know, like, really tight with Tashi or anything, but I do know the gentleman. And Dr. Frunky puts the lab coat on this week. And guys, you're going to want to put your coats on too, because Dr. Frunky is the guy that loves the 0392 from Zero Tolerance. And he has the 0393, the production version of that knife. And if anybody out there in the community can tell us, he's the one that can tell us if it lives up to the limited edition models. So we need to all go watch that one. And Knife Crazy comes out of the asylum this week to talk about Loctite. And he talks about the various strengths of Loctite, where you should use them, where you should not use them. And even though we use Vibrotite here for the knives, what you should know is that Loctite is useful in many other applications, and you need to know what type of Loctite to use. And I use Loctite up in the shop. I use it here in the house on a lot of different things where Vibrotite is not the proper thing to use. And Knife Crazy is there to fill you in on what type of Loctite to use and the various things that go along with that. And Jim Skelton slides in this week with a review of the Luma Blades Merc Fett Edition prototype. And Luma Blades is a gentleman that makes knives. He's from up in the Northeast, and he makes some really cool knives, and Jim is there to tell you about it. And Stazza 23 brings us a dose of knife therapy this week with the CRKT Caligo. It is a budget blade that has really impressed him, which, you know, that's cool, because if you want to see that one, you'll need to go visit Stazza, because I doubt that I will pick that one up. And Fun with Knives shows up this week with the Eschaton. He says it's truly special. You have to go watch the video to find out what he has to say about that. And guys, a PSA before we finish this up. if you are a reviewer or know a reviewer or a blogger or a video guy or whatever that does knives and EDC gear and they are not showing up here, you need to have them email me. Let me know they exist. I need to know what their URL is for whatever they're doing. You know, so the link to their blog, the link to their YouTube channel, whatever it is, so that I can look at it every Tuesday or Wednesday whenever I'm setting up for the Apex. Secondly, if you've been emailing me, messaging me, whatever, trying to promote your videos for the week, most likely that's not doing you any good. Your video may show up, but actually the message you sent, whether it was email or whatever, didn't do you any good, because I don't pay attention to those. I have a group of sites and a group of video people that I look at every week, and I try to do a little discovery for maybe some new people every week, and that's how I go about things. And that is simply because I'm not going to let the Apex turn into a promotion machine for people that want to do paid content or people that want to do influenced content. And that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be the content that I choose. You know, we may have a sponsor at some point. I've talked about that a little bit, but we're not doing influenced content and we're not doing paid content. We're doing the content that comes out every week from those of you out in the community doing your videos, doing your blog posts, and the stuff that I believe that this audience would like to see. It's as simple as that. So moving on along, the reason I brought all that up is because I realized that Eugene Kwan is doing YouTube videos. I had no idea. I've seen him on Instagram and other places, but I had no idea this guy was doing YouTube videos. And he's got a dashboard review. It's at number 45 of the Lionsteel and CollectorKnives.net Shuffler. And then the one other thing I realized as I was putting together the Apex this week, I don't ever talk about my own videos. Why? I don't know. So, a quick overview of what happened here on this channel this week. We had my knife maintenance kit for 2018, the spring of 2018, where I go over the Scout Leather Company drivers, the Weehaw bits, how I got a hold of them, and a whole list in the description of either where to go to find this stuff or where to go to buy this stuff. And that I did so I can put it with all of the What's Inside videos, because so many of you ask where I get a hold of these things. And moving on along, What's Inside videos. We got a couple of those this week. We have the Boker Lateralist. And really, guys, if you want to know my opinions on the Lateralist, you probably better go watch that video, because I'm probably not going to make another video on that particular knife. And also have the What's Inside of the Bestech Goblin, and how that one got in there instead of the Bestech Imp. Well, that's me making a scheduling error, because the full review that I did last week was the Bestech Imp. Another cool little knife from Bestech. And we will get through all the Bestech stuff, guys, I promise you, and we will be moving on to other knives. But, well, I've just got a bunch of Bestech here, so we're going to look at them, because that's how it works. Whatever I've got on the table is what we do, and I really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me. Don't forget to check the Patreon stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Wait, that's down there. And then like, share, subscribe, big red button. And I will see you next week.